The light is right here, but also I can see you better. Are you familiar with such saying, Panta rei? That's Greek. Everything is in change. And there's another little younger saying, adage, tempora mutantur et nos mutamur in illis. Anybody study Latin? Means times are changing, and we, within time, we're celebrating 85 years. You say, hey, he's old like hell. I am young like you, and more, maybe younger, because all my knowledge came from young people. As a social scientist, I didn't believe to copy books and saying of other people without the personal experience, without listening to the actors, to the performers, and I'm relating to the 60s and 70s. Of course, your parents are still young in comparison to what happened. But what happened, the young people spoke up, questioning institutions, political, economic, religious. And I spent time in communes all over the United States. I went to India to learn how they were influenced by Oriental religions. I went to Korea to study the Moonies, spent time. Moreover, I went to Israel and became, of course, an honorary member of the most progressive labeled communist kibbutz, because this was the direct idea of kibbutz, to create an equal society. And prior to this, I came to Yale, well, enthusiastic, like you teachers are, like you are, because you are sheer. By the way, what means enthusiastic? Enthusiasm. Anybody who can explain to me what means enthusiasm? Again, Greek helps us. En with theos, God, with God. Means the point is you have a spirit and you can go forward. And it means people who are not enthusiastic, they're dead wood. They are listening what others say. When smoking cigarettes, they will do it. When smoking pot, they will do it. And so on and so forth, because everybody does it, why not me? Not true. Even in the medical world, you have sometimes proofs that not everything what is most popular is the best for you. Maybe 20 years ago, the medical world in America concluded that the amount of vitamin supplements was too high and we poisoned for years our society. And you can read about this, the impact of overdosing even vitamins. So practically everything was too much is not good. Question, why are you here? What is the purpose of your visiting here? Spending the money parents invested, or telling I went to a summer, not camp institute? But tell me in your own words, why and what for are you here?
I know you guys can speak. Simple answers will do.
There's one up at the top.
You see, Glenn, you, yes.
I see music as a means for personal enlightenment, and I think that this place and this opportunity have offered me that consistently for the past 2 years in the most concentrated form that I've experienced in my life.
Well, you brought a very interesting points. Would anybody add something or take off?
I just enjoy being in a situation with like-minded people, and it makes for a much more personal music-making experience with people who all choose to be here. So we all, right from day one, we all have something in common.
So it means something brought you together. What is this something? Music.
Music.
I don't call it yet classical. Music. And there is a difference between different kinds of music, not genre. And there is a difference between the music called classical and, let's say, hip-hop music. Why is it so? One music and the other requires some skills, but the level of skills is different. The execution is different. The result on your person is different. The result on society is different. And therefore, I gave last year a lecture about classical music redefined, but I added it is contributing to personal and social growth. For instance, people are not all of them who took courses or were trained in classical music became professional musicians, members of orchestras, ensembles, or soloists. However, they excelled very much in their professions. Going from the top, for instance, Condoleezza Rice, well, the old story, pianist, became probably one of the best state Secretary of State in the United States recent history. Better than anybody else, okay? In spite of the fact that today we have prejudice about classical music, that it produces elite, that it's racial, it is sexist. These are maybe side effects, okay? But the essence is, by the fruit, you recognize the tree. And what does this kind of music you are going through does to you? Number one, first of all, how many of you really dream about a professional, money, income, living resources through classical music? Great, have dreams is very important. Can you imagine? I grew up, was born in Germany, grew up behind the Iron Curtain. For me, the rest of the world was the paradise, because we were like in a cage. However, we got good education, we got the food daily, the basic things. But still, the grass on the other side was always greener. And I recall, since I like to have always contact with young people and open-minded, and it was necessary for my research on counterculture, West and equivalent Eastern Europe, to learn what the people think. So I have many hats, and this hat is from Cuba. I have seen from Thailand, from Israel, I could put them on. And this is like an illustration of personality. And I call it open-minded personality. Don't enter anything without prejudice, pro or contra. Open-mindedness. By example, a week ago, I was making a surprise for my wife, a cake. But you see, I didn't like to measure how much flour, how much other stuff. Mixed it in, baked it. It did not look so attractive when she came home. Well, I don't want to repeat, but I was down. I said, Cecilia, wait and see. Tomorrow is another day. Go to bed and don't worry. And I'll show you that this stuff will become the most beautiful and most tasteful. Wow, no. Fortunately, again, she was practicing. I took my time, cut this, made some nice cream, filled it up, made specially for Emmanuel because he cannot eat the regular flour, but used almond flour, decorated, sent it here, and I have a whole litany of praises. What a great cake, the best one. And this applies to everything, because our life is based on perception, interpretation and application. If you have a wrong perception, everything will get wrong. But you have always a chance to correct. When you, for instance, would ask about people about so-called classical music, they would tell you it's boring, blah, 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 blah. But they don't see there's a huge difference. You have a son or a daughter who study with enthusiasm, remember enthusiasm, and the results of work. Well, I am not a person who got the knowledge from library, you should probably notice, but from interacting. And I can see on the example of young professors, they started parallelly with all the professors, internationally renowned, but I said, the kids will better communicate with their peers than with this, because we expect the older one must know it, but the young, not. And if he does, then why can I not do it like him or her? And this I could see it really worked very well, because we are here to enjoy cooperation, support, and sharing of experiences. Not only by fingering, not only by intonations, not only but the whole personality. We were one of the first summer institutes which introduced physical activities. All the faculty members said, no, if the people come here to play piano, violin. I said, listen, to be a good musician, you have to have stamina. I was playing soccer until I was 65 on the team, actually with kids like you, and I could dribble and go. I said, oh. In conclusion, now what are you going to do with all the experiences? Realistically speaking, the job market is not opening too much. However, there's always a niche, and you can do more and better than the symphony orchestras and the institutionalized music. Probably you read a book by an author who said about who killed classical music. Not the enthusiastic musicians like you, managers, soloists, and so on. Because what happened, they monopolized. They brought the same musicians both to concert in Australia and in New York, and didn't admit anybody else. Therefore, now already 50 years ago, I bought a music agency because I knew what's going on often in promoting music behind the scene. And it worked. We worked with Penderecki, we worked with great orchestras, with Tomanico, and you name it. I'm proud to work with composers, Carter, Glass, and you name it. But always thought about the performers and moreover the recipients, the audience. And when, for instance, my wife was giving concert in support of a social movement, Solidarity, we introduced folk music, part of it. And we said, what kind of concert is that? But the people recognized the elements and were mobilized. We went around the world not only playing with big orchestras, but China, Communist China, invited our family to open the Olympics with great music. What music? Not Chinese. Western classical music. And we added also some of the Chinese folk, and I was singing at the end, Amazing Grace. The people loved it, they were singing. The government who sponsored it said, oh, it was not in the program. My response was, but it was by public demand. So it means you can find always a way of promoting things as you are, your music you love, and you can find future, not only jobs, but professional execution of music, even as a doctor, even as a lawyer, even as a garbage collector. So I wish you therefore all the best and more about music. We ask the musicians, but you see, there's another saying in Latin, entiam non sum multiplicanda sine necessitate. You don't multiply words in anything without necessity. And I think we communicate somehow. You follow the idea, perception, interpretation, execution. And if you have this correct, you will be great, a great day. Thank you.